Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. All right. I've been receiving information from people that those people who had applied for work permit extensions based on their LMIs in process or their PNPs in process or they have an express entry profile and awaited an ITA, they've started receiving refusals, and apparently those refusal letters do not state the option to restore their status, and they're being asked to leave the country. Now, as far as my understanding goes, and as per my opinion, if your work permit extension was submitted prior to the expiration of your current work permit or your original work permit, and as long as you've complied with all the conditions of your original work permit, I don't really see for you to not be eligible for restoration. Now, restoration in Canada, or restoration of temporary resident status, is as per section 182 of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations, which states that if you lose your temporary resident status in Canada, you have 90 days to restore that status. Now, when you submit your work permit extension application, and as long as that was submitted before the expiration of your current permit, like your original permit, then you go under implied status, which is also known as maintained status. Maintained status is considered as a legal status in Canada which grants authorized stay to temporary residents. So once you have an implied status, you can continue working and living in Canada until you get a decision on the application. Now, the day your application gets refused is the day you lose your temporary residence status if your work permit, the original work permit, is already expired. If your original work permit is not expired, then you're still within the status. But if your work permit is expired and you receive a refusal, that is the day when you lose your temporary residence status. And as per section 182 of the IRPR, you're now eligible to restore your status within the 90 days. So I don't really see a reason for you to not be eligible for a restoration as long as you've met, you've complied with all the conditions, the application was submitted before the expiration of your original work permit. You should be eligible to apply for a restoration even if it doesn't state on the letter. Now keep in mind, this is your last opportunity. So make sure that you do that application properly, you pay all the right amount of fees properly so that this application is not refused. Because if this is refused, then you're not eligible for another restoration and you definitely have to leave the country. Also, make sure that you stop working the day you lose your temporary residence status as a worker because you're no longer authorized to work. Having said that, if you have any more questions or you want me to assess your particular situation, I'm here to help you. You can always reach us out. But yeah, as far as your application for temporary residence is concerned for restoration, you can go ahead and apply. The IRCC is probably not mentioning that in the letters because they want temporary residents to leave the country because there are just so many. So maybe in their mind, it's sooner rather than later kind of situation. So they're not giving that option because there will be some of you who will not have that option or who will not think through and will get scared and then, will ultimately leave the country. So yeah, that's the ultimate goal of Canada at this point, having temporary residents leave. But as far as the law is concerned, you should be eligible as long as everything was done timely and correctly. I hope that helps.